Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Jono the Eternal Optimist, and how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Welcome. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Yes, we are going to be resuming the community night event. We're going to continue the story that we're playing. I love these choose your own adventures. It's great. It's really inspiring me to maybe try one. I've never actually tackled one before. It'll be fun. Let me give everybody a nice warm welcome. So, welcome, Jetski Sam, General Stockist, Nalame, Ryan's YouTube channel. Yeah, welcome. Hector, Kieran, welcome. I hope you're all having a great weekend. I can't believe it's already Sunday. I spent the whole of the day just adulting, cleaning the apartment. And more cleaning and cooking and cleaning. But it's been good. It's been a good day. Productive day, which is always good. It always is nice when you actually achieve something rather than like procrastinating and then feeling guilty about it later. So yeah, I sorted out my tax and I did cleaning. I am proud of myself. But welcome. Hope you're all having a fun day. Let's get those traditionals out the way. So thank you, Hector and Maddie, and for your support of the Golden Wings, everybody in the Noble and Snow Wings, and of course, all you fine people that have come by for some laughs and continuation of our somewhat questionable protagonist. Oh gosh. Let me quickly catch up on the chat. So yeah, last night was a lot of fun. The Baldur's Gate 3 4-person co-op. I'm looking forward to continuing it. Very chaotic. I might tweak a couple of things. I definitely need to boost the volume of the game a little bit more. But you know me. Every single stream I try to do one thing better. At least one thing. Is your computer glitching? Uh-oh. Is there problems? Can everybody hear me? You sound like someone that's starting a show. Yeah, this is my presentation style. Hello and welcome. Yeah, I am guilty. I'm an actor at heart. I grew up performing on the stage as a kid. So that actor's instinct, that desire to perform and sound like a showman, just it takes over sometimes. Guilty. Well, you know what, YouTube and streaming and all of that is about entertaining, right? We're about giving people what they want. But welcome. Yeah, Ryan's YouTube channel. We're going to be reading the story today. I'll give you a quick rundown of what happened last week. So basically, our character, the protagonist, was kidnapped as a baby, and we were put into a sort of assassin training program, and we've been basically raised since we were 5 years old on everything about how to kill, research, all of that jazz. Our entire education has been to be an eternal for the Emperor, and the person who taught us, her name is Mistress, and she's a Drow elf that our character has very mixed feelings on. We're not going to go into too much detail about her. But we met the Emperor, and he's surprisingly kind. And yeah, we did our first mission where we had to wipe out some sort of shadow guild. And the Emperor also wants to take out this sort of goblin troublemakers as well. So yeah, we're basically in this fantasy world, and we are the villains of this story, apparently. But hi, let me catch up on the chat quickly. So, welcome, Lael. Hi, and Key, welcome. Yeah, last night was great. I hope you guys had fun. Hi, everyone. I don't know what to call him. Yeah, our character actually hasn't been given a name. We're just known as the Eternal. I don't know what to call him. Hi, Key. You sound like someone starting a show. Yep. I've been waiting for this all day. Ah, nice. Hi, Jetski. My birthday is this October. It's on the 25th. Oh, that's great. Remind me on your birthday so I can sing you a song. I will sing you a happy birthday song, Stalkers. The show must go on. Exactly. Jono, we should name him. Spoiler. I know her name. Spoiler, bad name. Oh, you mean Mistress. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, please don't give us spoilers. That would be good. Too kind of sus. Exactly. But the thing is that the Emperor says he's human, but he's lived for centuries. So a part of me is thinking that he's training these children of his, these Eternals, as sorry, I just had ice cream put in my mouth. Thank you. Oh, that's cold. I think he has these children trained, and then he'll take over their bodies or something like that. That's what I think. I suspect the Emperor will probably try to claim our body at some point when we're ready. That's what I believe. I definitely had fun, more than Shadowheart. Rip. Rip. I'm amazed that the game actually allows us to kill an important story character like that. Are you talking to me or are you talking to the fans? I was talking to you. I was talking to everyone. But yeah, Ryan, what games do you play? What games do you stream? I'm gonna actually open up your channel here. Oh, Wait, I can't actually open up your channel? That's weird. Literally every other mod. Hold up. I gotta test this out. Maybe it's because I'm in the studio mode. Just give me a second. I want to see if I can open up your channel from this way. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I've got your channel and I will check out your content, Ryan. But yeah, not now. I enjoy promoting people, but I also don't want people to just come and spam, you know. Like I've had that. I've had people come like into the Discord and all they do is post links to their channel and stuff, and it's not very nice, you know. It's all about a give and take, right? With these kinds of things, interacting with other people, it's all about give and take. But anyway. Again, we have so many wonderful artists and creators and everything in this community. It's always nice to give them a boost or point out something amazing that they've done. But kind of sus. Exactly, Hector. Exactly. Oh, wait. Miku Farmer, welcome. Hi, was debating whether to watch this live or not, but I decided to watch it live because it's interesting. Exactly. And you get to vote on the story. So let's go to the gaming room quick so you guys can see. We have, this is how I present the story. I narrate it while we go down. So the Emperor has given us permission to call him father, but as we go to sleep, we're busy thinking about the mistress and if she is our mother. Just as a warning, in our final test, our character actually slept with her. So, yeah, they got intimate together, and now because we were kidnapped as a child, we never actually knew who our real parents are. So this father and mother figure in our lives is really messed up because she was very abusive. So yeah, this story's kind of dark. Jono, who did that? Sorry, I lost track of it. Who did what? If I say spoiler, I'll change my profile picture to an anime girl. Okay. You can murder everyone in Baldur's Gate? That's crazy. Holy damn. Pizza Tower and Garden of Banburn. Ooh, somebody recommended Pizza Tower to me a few months ago. I must check that out. I must have a look. Jono, have you looked up Chimera yet? No, I will copy that right now and I will paste it in my tab so that it is right there. Got it. I should also type out Pizza Tower. Why not? Pizza Tower game. There you go. Because when I say that I want to check something out, I actually want to check it out. It's just sometimes these things slip because the streams are very, very busy. I can't wait until Best Girl shows up. Have you played My Friendly Neighborhood? No. Who fed you ice cream? Is it your girlfriend? Yes, Ann. She usually watches behind me, sitting on the beanbag here. She was sort of a secret for a couple of months, but I thought about it a lot, and I don't want my girlfriend to have to sneak around our own apartment together. So I decided to tell chat. I'm like, hey, yep, I've got a girlfriend, and you know, chat loves her now because she's on your side. Like whenever I do the push-ups, she's busy counting, going, no, Jono, do the push-ups properly. So yeah, she's on your side. She's on team chat. I'm all on my own here. Trust me. Is it me? Is it real or is it in the game? Real. But anyway, hi. Yep. She's in the other. You want to say hi? Come say hi. Come say hi, chat. Just so they know you're real.
Hi. I'm just Jono's imagination, so.
What? Yes, there you go. I am an incredible voice actor, as you can see. Hi, I'm Jono's imagination. Bye. Anyway, I thought you were talking about the game. No. Someone in chat was just asking about who fed me the ice cream just now. Okay, so yeah, essentially our character has gone to sleep and is wondering about the nature of our very complicated relationship. Let me just grab this. Story time, save, replace. Got it. Okay, and then turn that off, and then it should refresh. Right? No, it didn't. Just a sec. Come on, please behave. Please. It was working. It was working last week. Just give me a second. Story time. There we go. Refresh. There we go. Fixed it. Okay, so 21 years. We're now 21 years old. Oh yeah, and we should also turn off this music and turn up this music. There we go. We got some more dramatic music that's more appropriate. I should also clear up the death counter because we're not playing Pinocchio right now. Boom. Hi Lil, I feel dim-witted. No worries though, because again, I do appreciate you, sending that message as well, because, again, it's better to just be upright with people and, not introduce misunderstandings and stuff. So thank you for that. Thank you. All right. Boom. Let's go. Can your girlfriend join your stream? She was actually asking, well, not asking, but she was thinking about like what kind of VTuber model she would have if she ever did get one. So we've been chatting about things. We'll see what happens in the future. VTubing is a lot of fun and it would be wonderful, but what's it? My girlfriend is a little shy. All right, let's see. Jono, keep the counter because we'll be making the consequences. No, that's the counter for Liza P. I don't want to mess up the number of deaths for that game. Okay. Year 21. Oh, also let me know if the music's too loud or not. Okay. The time for all-out war is getting close. The Emperor is getting more impatient with delaying it any further. He probably feels he's wasted enough time with putting out the pitiful rebellious fires and restructuring the Empire in the past couple of years. You've been looking forward to a little action as well. You haven't had much to do in a while, ever since your purges in Delurg and Kuala. Ever since the official forming of the Eyes. Ooh, I wonder what the Eyes are. They're supposed to be the primary ones looking after the internal peace of the Empire, and rebellious activity has been practically nil. Oh, so the Eyes is a new organization that was formed after we took out the Shadows. Still, it was practically non-existent, just as the Eyes were coming into service. One wonders if it was due to the threat of the new secret police, but rather the fact that you had already been overly efficient in pursuing dissension by depopulating entire areas. Whoops. Indeed, it was probably for the best that you were replaced before you deprived the Empire of potential soldiers for the upcoming war with the Falcons. The Falcons are the sort of gnome creatures that betrayed the Empire. Are you going to read all of this? Yes, it's a story. It's like a novel, and you guys, at the end of it, let me just check here. Yeah, there'll be 2 choices at the end of this chapter, and you guys will vote on what choice you want to make. So yeah, still, there are always those that refuse to give up, the prime one being the so-called last shadow, Cyrus. Cyrus was an Eternal, like us. We're Eternals, we're assassins trained. Cyrus was an Eternal, though you don't remember too much about him, other than he was always one of the stealthier classmates that you seem to never fail in getting a cheap shot on you when Mistress was having you spar against him. Oh, he's one of our failed classmates. You say was an Eternal because as far as you are concerned, he ceased being one the moment he betrayed the Empire. Now he's nothing more than a traitor who needs to be exterminated. Cyrus was one of those few shadows that happened to be on the surface at the time of the destruction of Gloom. He also avoided your purges due to initially being in Kuala and then eventually fleeing to the rural areas in Arat. He constantly moves around a lot, making hit-and-run attacks on patrols or caravans. He does travel with a group, but they aren't so much rebels as they are just ambitious bandits and thugs. They probably don't give a damn about whatever Cyrus's religious or philosophical views are for opposing the Empire. They're just in it for the killing and the loot. Nevertheless, they are a nuisance, and given that the Arat province is staging ground to attack the Falcon Kingdom, the Emperor is more than annoyed that the Eyes haven't succeeded in tracking him yet, and he doesn't want to waste any proper military on Cyrus, mainly because he sees it as Jacob's fault for various reasons. Jacob is the assistant, if I remember correctly. You have the stream, what? You have the stream thing to do. The stream thing? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, everything seems to be working. I'm a bit, my internet can sometimes be a little unstable, so. Well, he's your failure, Jacob. Fix it, the Emperor exclaims. The Eyes have been attempting to apprehend him, my Emperor, but he has proven quite elusive. They just need more time to... Jacob, when I told you to put together an efficient internal security force, I expected you to succeed in this endeavor. My Emperor, the Eyes are efficient. I mean, rebellious attitudes are at the lowest they've been in, well, probably more than I've ever seen. Well, they aren't good enough. If they can't capture the so-called last shadow, I'd send in Svelk and Mercs if I hadn't put our funding into Marek's factory to produce new weapons to combat the Falcons. You do realize we have a war with the Falcons to pursue, and your bumbling is delaying that task. I understand that, but we shouldn't go to war unless we have everything absolutely settled in all internal matters in the Empire first. Cyrus is likely to start ambushing supply wagons, and then where would we be? You watch as the Emperor continues to verbally abuse Jacob. It's a scene you've seen many times in the past, and will probably see many times more in the future. Jacob really does try to serve as the best he can, and from what you can tell, he's fairly good at his job, but for whatever reason, it's just never good enough for the Emperor, no matter what. While you normally don't interrupt such sessions, you do feel the need to interject. I would have to agree that if we are to crush the Falcons, we should just go ahead and start the process now. As much of the nuisance this last shadow has been, his impact has been minimal, and certainly not enough to warrant a paralysis in our military matters. We are a large nation, and we're always going to have a few internal matters to resolve. The Emperor naturally is pleased that you've backed him up on this matter, though Jacob looks less than enthused given that he's already fighting a losing argument. Thank you, son. You see, Jacob? This is a true Eternal, not like the rest of those losers, traitors, and ne'er-do-wells you oversee. Jacob has no words. He might continue, but he knows it would be a futile endeavor, and he's walking on thin ice as it is, given how the Emperor is already letting him have it today. Again, you feel the need to interject. The stream bot. Is it in everyone's stream? Yeah, I have Roberto. I'm gonna do a quick test. Let me just see here. Let's see if Roberto is actually working today. Sometimes Roberto is what I've nicknamed the stream bot. No, Roberto is still on strike. I'm gonna have to go and dig into the files to find out why it's not working. All right. If I may, I would be happy to assist in this matter with the shadow terrorist, you say. That's not necessary. I wouldn't presume to take away from whatever duties the Emperor has seen fit to bestow upon you, Jacob replies. Considering how inept you've been in taking care of this, maybe I should send him to help, the Emperor says before turning to address you directly. I did have plans for you to take a command position when we start our assault on the Falcons, but the position will still be there when you're done with bailing Jacob if you so desire. I'll leave it up to you. In the meantime, I'm going to finish up my preparations to make the first attack on the Falcons. Now go with Jacob if you wish to help him, or stay here, but in any event, I don't want to hear any more about this shadow matter from anyone until it is resolved. Jacob makes his way slowly out the door, though while he hasn't said it, you see a look in his eye that he's hoping you'll provide assistance despite his previous words of not being necessary. Okay, chat, we got our first vote of the evening. Do we help Jacob? Are we going to help the man with his problems, or are we going to just let him deal with it? So, help Jacob. Oh, I said Jacob. Or proceed with the war. Side quest. Okay, and then we go to the voting room. Whoops, and I reset the clock. There we go. You guys have 20 seconds. Oh, clicking my back. Help him. Yeah. This stream bot is in everyone's live streams. Yeah, it's very useful. Having commands and having it react to it when it works is very, very useful. I gotta fix it though. Apparently it broke. Maybe they changed something. I'll have to go and have a look. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poll is done. Bum-ba-dum. And the winner is Help Jacob. Okay, well that was easy. Let me just select it here. Help Jacob. Save file. Replace. Okay, it is saved. And now we switch back. And refresh. Oh, just a moment. I need to lock that. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna help Jacob. Proceed. Maybe it's because you feel slightly sorry for Jacob, or maybe it's because you do see Cyrus as a potential liability if left unchecked, and his traitorous ways are an insult to the name Eternal. But whatever the reason, you decide to help Jacob. I believe I shall help Jacob in this matter. I started out crushing the shadows and rebels. I might as well finish the job, you say to the Emperor. Very well, but I trust you won't take it as long as Jacob has. Remember, I need you for an important task for the war. You and Jacob both leave the Emperor's presence. As soon as you're out the door, Jacob addresses you. I thank you for the assistance. I haven't done anything yet. I'm not talking about the situation with the shadow. I mean intervening before the Emperor found a reason to have me executed. Oh, I doubt if that would have happened. I don't know. Lately, I can't seem to do anything right by him. I really try to serve him to the best of my abilities. I always have. I know you do. Jacob and you don't speak too much to each other normally, but your relationship has always been a cordial one. I guess I should be glad the Emperor is so fond of you. It might be it might be the only thing keeping me alive. You are the Eternal that wasn't a failure, of course, and for that I am very thankful. Because you were directly trained by Mistress, you sometimes forget that Jacob, or Mr. Mole as you once knew him, was the one that was primarily in charge of your development. At least in the behind-the-scenes way. You've never really thought about your other classmates since you've always had more pressing matters, but now you're a little curious. Just how many of my other classmates survived? Not many. Besides you, 8 and 3 of them are already dead, and one of those became a traitorous shadow. And another one is the last shadow, still giving the Empire grief, you say? Yes, I had such high hopes for Cyrus. He showed so much potential. Damn shadow indoctrination. Anyway, that leaves 4 who I assure you are not losers or failures, and are in fact very accomplished soldiers in the Empire. They finished out their training with Captain Gruds, who I am sure you are familiar with. Yes, I am. You say whatever you wishing that you could have been so lucky. Oh yeah, because we got trained by Mistress. A part of us kind of wishes we got trained by the Orc. Yes, I am. You say somewhat wishing that you could have been so lucky. I still keep appraised of their activities since they are all still technically under my watch. I'm just glad the Emperor didn't take the proper project out of my hands and proceed with the Marek's crazy ideas. Could you tell me a little more about them? Certainly, Jacob remarks, perking up a bit. He's genuinely glad someone is showing an interest. He tells you that Cain has been instrumental in taming the Rask frontier. Says that he's even developing a bit of a reputation of his own, given his merciless slaughter of the barbarian and ogre tribes up there. He's considered for a fort commander position. Brenda and Roland have just been doing similar things in the Nayland province with the kobolds and the Uksha desert raiders that sometimes plague the area. Either one could also become a fort commander as well, though he believes Brenda might be the better candidate, as he believes Roland can go on to greater things. He goes on to say that both of them have become unusually close, though, and Roland has even requested that they be allowed to marry. Jacob sees nothing particularly unreasonable about this request and is considering allowing it. You'll actually be working with the last one, Warwick. I'm just going to say Warwick. Oh man, that's going to make me go, ooh, woo. Warwick. I assigned him to the eyes, and so far he's been the closest to catching Cyrus. Excellent tracker. I nearly considered Warwick to become an infiltrator for the shadows initially, but it's a good thing I didn't, considering how things worked out with Cyrus. Oh, this is all somewhat fascinating to you. Thanks. This is all somewhat fascinating to you, as you do remember all of them, but mainly as your opponents in the fighting arena when Mistress was sending the entire class to try and kill you on a regular basis. In fact, Jacob realizes this and suddenly asks you if it'll be a problem working with Warwick. No, why would it? Well, I know that due to Mistress's training, you had a less friendly relationship with your classmates than everyone else. It's all in the past. For me, it is at least. I survived and grew stronger from the experience, and it certainly wasn't his fault. He was just doing what he was told. Everyone was. Besides, might be interesting working with someone from the old class on more cooperative terms this time. Good. I'm glad to hear you say that, Jacob says with a smile. Eventually, you reach Jacob's office, where you see not 1, but 3 desks piled in paperwork. Jacob grumbles about how his underlings were supposed to be there to take care of some of it today, but as usual, he's probably have to do it all himself. After rummaging through a stack, he pulls out a few pieces of parchment and some scrolls, and then says they're taking a carriage ride to an staging ground near Bucklesburg in the Arid province. Jacob says he'll explain more about the situation along the way, as well as doing some of his paperwork. A carriage ride later, and you're all caught up on the area as well as the specifics of Cyrus's most recent attacks. When you arrive in the Bucklesburg, you're met by who you presume are eyes, and one face that will allow a little one face that, while a little older, now you recognize as Warwick. This guy needs to use some commas. Sorry, I've been biting my tongue as a writer, but there are some grammatical choices here that I would alter. It needs commas. He stares at you a bit and obviously recognizes you as well, but says nothing since it isn't his time to speak. Eyes. You may have heard of this man you see before you. He is the main reason why we managed to stop this potential full-scale rebellion and keep it to a few crazed traitors that are desperately trying to hang out to their lives a little while longer. Jacob starts off by telling them. A little bit of an exaggeration, of course, but then only a few know about the Drow involvement in the destruction of the shadows, and most of them are currently the same rotting bodies in the gloom. Your involvement, on the other hand, is infamous. Now I leave it to you, Jacob says and leaves. Since you're already up to speed on everything due to Jacob's briefing, you basically tell the eyes that that's how they're planning to catch Cyrus is all wrong and how they need to do things differently. Waiting around for Cyrus to attack patrols and caravans and then attempting to stop him isn't working because Cyrus is quicker and a better warrior than all of you. You know how I know this? Because you haven't killed him yet. Even if he hasn't managed to recruit his lackeys into following that silly religion of his, he's obviously training them into an efficient, hardened fighting force. Taking rebel captives and torturing them for information isn't working because Cyrus is smart enough to change his plans completely, and when he knows his people have been captured. Besides, I guarantee you could catch and kill all of his people and he'd just disappear for a few years and pop up again with a new group. Which brings me to the point of why trying to search for the wilderness for him isn't working either. You don't have the numbers to do it. You say before turning to Warwick. And as good as you are at tracking, Cyrus is still a shadow and he's got the magic to mask himself. If he doesn't want to be found, he won't be. But you can continue. One of the eyes is brave enough to question you. Unsurprisingly, it's the one in charge, Sightmaster Davison. So what's your solution? Davison asks. At this point, Warwick's own face displays a grimace with a small shake of his head, knowing that his immediate superior is going to be punished for the disruption. You walk up to the eye and backhand him in the face! Oh, he caught some hands! Do not interrupt, you say calmly. Davison nods quickly while holding onto the side of his face. Then you slap him a couple more times, followed by a punch to his face. He falls to the floor and you launch into a speech. Oh my goodness! Okay, our character has some unchecked aggression. He's got some issues. My solution is to bring down the shadow, which all of you have failed to do. The Emperor is tired of your failures. We are to conquer the Falcon Kingdom soon, and yet you cannot eliminate a few measly traitors. It is only because I decided to intervene that a lot of you haven't been executed for your incompetence on this matter. While you may all be the eyes of the Emperor, I am his terrible weapon that carries out his righteous justice. Pray that justice is never to be carried out on you. Now that you've given a proper inspirational speech, all you have to do is come up with a solution. The thing is, one of their attempted tactics of trying to ambush Cyrus while he's attacking the caravans could still work if you get a hold of him. Of course, you could come up with your own plan. Okay, chat. It is time for you guys. Jono, BRB, I need to get food. No worries, stalkers. Enjoy your food. Okay, let us vote. Start of all. What do we do? We've got setup. We are big brain. We are big brain, or we use old tactics. Start a poll. There we go. Swip and start the countdown. All right. So yeah, our character is getting more and more aggressive. Like, remember, like last week we ended up stabbing a drow to death just for being late, making us wait a couple of days, and we ended up murdering one of them. Hilly, welcome, Hilly. How you doing? How's your day going? Yeah. We are gonna let the voting end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that was a predictable outcome. Okay, we're going big brains. We're gonna vote. We're gonna set up our own plan. So I save. Yes. And then we swap back. Set up our own plan. Cyrus obviously isn't going to be caught by someone so mundane. You'll have to do something more elaborate, like if he thought there were shadow sympathizers on the rise again. We're going to turn this town into a hub of sedition, traitors and shadow sympathizers, you remark. Several eyes, including Warwick, look at each other and want to question why you'd want to do such a thing, but nobody dares say anything though. Good. Glad everyone waited for me to continue this time. Cyrus will be more likely to let his guard down if he thinks he has a solid base of operations rather than running like an animal in the wilderness. We need this town to become that base. Now, here's how we're going to do it. First thing you tell everyone is that you're going to be harassing the people of Bucklesburg to an unreasonable degree. You get to this fairly quickly and perhaps a little too zealously. You begin an inquisition of sorts to root out any potential shadow sympathizers. Naturally, all the folks of Buckleberg protest their innocence and swear they've never even thought of such a thing. Of course, you don't listen and have people executed publicly anyway. Wives, children, it doesn't matter. The point is to become hated. When you feel you've done enough damage, you call for the eyes to pull out of town. The next phase of your plan is going to have someone disseminate subversive ideas to the Bucklesburg. You have an eye sneak back in and start writing graffiti against the Emperor's empire on the walls and placing simple pamphlets encouraging people to join Cyrus. You have to wait a couple of weeks before this starts bearing any fruit, but eventually, one of the eyes reports that the town is starting to show signs of rebelliousness. Meanwhile, caravans are still being attacked, and you get a message from the Emperor saying that he expected you to have settled this problem a lot quicker, as he really wants to get on with attacking the Felkin Kingdom. You begin to get a little nervous. A couple more weeks pass and nothing major has happened. You had hoped that Cyrus, or perhaps one of his followers, had gotten the rumor about the town of Bucklesburg becoming unfriendly towards the Empire. But Warwick tells you that he hasn't seen any sign of Cyrus or his group anywhere near the town. They're still keeping to the wilderness and making their lightning raids on caravans. As Bucklesburg itself, there have been a few meetings, but not much else. Your plan is failing to produce results, and you get another message from the Emperor, which is noticeably more hostile in tone. All it says is that you are to do better. You better do something about Cyrus by the end of the week, or you are to report back to him immediately. Feeling the pressure, you can't wait out this plan any longer. You're going to have to attempt to catch him in the act of attacking one of the caravans. Your only advantage is nobody has been defending them for several weeks, so Cyrus may have been lulled into a false sense of security. You and the eyes travel towards where the supply... Wait, so our plan didn't work? Hi, welcome, Terrence. Welcome. How you doing? I don't think old tactics will work. Well, we're going with old tactics. Nikufama, you spoke too soon. You and the eyes travel towards where the supply caravan is and maintain a respectable distance from it and keep out of sight. You travel alongside it for miles, and there are a couple of eyes who start wondering if Cyrus is even going to attack it. You know he will, though, and of course you turn out to be right. The caravan guard hold their own against the rebel bandits, but as soon as Cyrus decloaks, he begins making short work of them. It is at this point Sightmaster Davison orders the eyes to attack. As a short skirmish between the eyes and Cyrus unfolds, you begin to concentrate. You visualize water, and then that water slowly solidifying into ice. The temperature around you begins to get very cold, and soon so does the entire area. It is at this point Cyrus notices you in the distance and realizes that he is outclassed this time. He panics like a true coward and calls for a retreat, but it is too late. You utter the incantation and cover the surrounding area in ice. The caravan, the guards, the rebels, and the eyes all covered in a frost that covers most of them to be frozen on the spot. You run over to the site and see several of them are still living, shivering profusely and moaning from the pain of frostburn. A few of the hardy have managed to endure the effects of the spell, though they are busily trying to free their feet from ice before frostbite sets in. Others lie dead, frozen. Cyrus is not among them, though, and you catch sight of him slowly attempting to get away and heading towards the forest. His attempts to speed himself up make him only moderately faster due to the frost covering his body. You begin to concentrate in the direction Cyrus was heading. Instead of visualizing water, you now visualize fire, and much like a small ice storm you created, you now create one of flame. While you are casting the spell, however, Cyrus manages to turn invisible, and you don't see what direction he fled in before your firestorm hits the area. The forest that Cyrus was heading towards is suddenly set ablaze, along with the fielded area near it. However, Cyrus must have escaped, because if he had caught in the firestorm, he would have instantly decloaked. You begin to swear and curse of how you nearly had him, while you're surveying the carnage you've caused to your own people. Sightmaster Davison is fully encased in ice. Warwick is just only managing to free himself from one of his icy restraints. You were in such a hurry to capture Cyrus that you didn't think to at least hold Warwick back so he might be able to track Cyrus in case he managed to get away again. That opportunity has been lost now. You and the remaining eyes head back to the closest settlement, which is Bucklesburg. Yay! Where you try to figure out what your next move is going to be. Oh, chat. Oh, chat. We're going to be welcomed with loving arms to this town. It's most likely because you're tired as well. as concerned with having to possibly face the Emperor that you don't appreciate the aura of hostility in Bucklesburg. You and the eyes are suddenly pelted by several rocks. Peasants aren't usually known for their combat abilities, but forming angry mobs and throwing rocks is certainly something they're good at. Why am I not surprised that our plan didn't work? I'm good and you? Oh, that's good. I'm enjoying the story reading. It also is letting me get back into narrating. I want to do more voice work again. So, you know, yeah. You and the eyes. Oh, there we go. Not that you don't put up a fight and massacre several of the peasants, but the fact that they are in nearly fanatical state and throw themselves upon you like suicidal lemmings, thanks to your own actions that made them that way in the first place. Several of them are actually shouting that the shadows will rise again, and that Cyrus will lead them. What have we done? Your fate is ultimately an ignoble one of being beaten to death in the streets, drawn and quartered, and finally your head stuck on a pole along with the remaining eyes as a symbol of renewed defiance against the Empire. Later, Bucklesburg is razed to the ground and all are purged for treason. The Emperor doesn't mourn your loss, but rather is angry with himself for wasting his time on someone who comes to believe he was an idiot. We murmured. We got murmured by basic peasants. Okay, we gotta go back. Okay, so instead of setting up our own plan, we're going to catch him in the act of one of his attacks. So we're going with the old plan, okay? Wow, chat. The very first choice of the evening. Oh no, second choice of the evening. And we done goofed. Refresh. There we go. Okay, so instead of upsetting the townspeople, we're going to think we should stick to boomer tactics. So we died. Yeah, we did. Okay, let's try this again. The next thing you say surprises all of the eyes. Yeah, we're not going to make this place a hotbed of rebellious activity. Now there's a caravan coming through the area north of here in the next few days that is carrying a lot of supplies for the military. Cyrus isn't going to be able to resist attacking it if he thinks it was a... Even if he thinks it's a setup. We're going to intercept him when he attacks it and put an end to him once and for all. Several eyes, including Warwick, look at each other and want to question why you scolded them about that particular idea they've used, and then you want to continue using it. Nobody dares say anything though. Good. Glad everyone waited for me to continue this time. You're probably wondering why we're going to continue using a strategy after I just pointed out that it has failed so many times. Well, the strategy was a simple one, and sometimes simple ones are best. The advantage you have now is that I'm with you, and I will be able to handle Cyrus, and will not let him get away. Besides, you failed so many times at stopping him that he's bound to be a little cocky now, and won't be expecting any major surprises. Even if he does, he probably also thinks he's the chosen one of his god and invincible. Time to show Cyrus that his false god cannot protect him. You finish by telling them to get themselves prepared, as you will be moving out soon. Warwick, you come over here. I want to talk to you. Warwick complies with your request, probably with some concern to his well-being. I wonder why. I want you to stick with me during this attack. I need you to be alive, and your chances of survival will increase if you're with me. While I don't think there will be any problems, it will still be good to have a second, just in case we need to chase after Cyrus. Any questions? Now is the time to ask. I have no questions, sir. Very well. You and the eyes travel towards where the supply caravan is, and maintain a respectable distance from it and keep out of sight. You travel alongside it for miles, and there are a couple of eyes who start wondering if Cyrus is even going to attack it. You know he will though, and of course you turn out to be right. The caravan guard hold their own against the rebel bandits, but as soon as Cyrus decloaks, he begins making short work of them. It is at this point the Sightmaster Davison orders the eyes to attack. Not you, as I said. You're sticking with me, you say to Warwick while grabbing his shoulder to hold him back. As the skirmish between the eyes and Cyrus unfolds, you begin to concentrate. You visualize water, and then that water slowly solidifying into ice. The temperature around you begins to get very cold, and soon, so does the entire area. It is at this point Cyrus notices you in the distance and realizes that he's outclassed this time. He panics like a true coward and calls for a retreat, but it is too late. You utter the incantation and cover the surrounding area in ice. The caravan, the guards, the rebels, and the eyes are all covered in frost that causes most of them to be frozen on the spot. Now we get our traitor, you say to Warwick, and the pair of you run over to the caravan battle site. You see several of the still living shivering profusely and moaning from the pain of frostburn. A few of the hardy have managed to endure the effects of the spell, though they are busy trying to free their feet from the ice before frostbite sets in. Others lie dead and frozen. Cyrus is not among them, though, and Warwick catches sight of him slowly attempting to get away and heading towards the forest. His attempts to speed himself up make him only moderately faster due to the frost covering his body. Wasting no time, Warwick grabs his bow and fires several arrows at Cyrus. A couple hit their mark. Cyrus stumbles and staggers but doesn't fall. He instead manages to turn invisible. Shit. But he's wounded. I can track him if we hurry, Warwick exclaims. But once again, you stop him from proceeding. You've proven your worth, Warwick, but your tracking skills won't be necessary today, you say, and begin to concentrate in the direction Cyrus was heading. Instead of visualizing water, you now visualize fire, and much like the small ice storm you created, you now create one of flame. The forest that Cyrus was limping towards is suddenly set ablaze, along with the fielded area near it. A burning figure once again decloaks, and you hear the screams all the way from the caravan site, which is starting to thaw due to the proximity of the heat. Desperately, Cyrus tries to make his way out of the inferno and back towards the caravan site. You calmly walk to him with Warwick following. By the time you reach him, Cyrus is crawling towards you, half-frozen, half-burned, and death closely following him. You see what this path has brought you, traitor? No one, no so-called freedom, no glory for your god, and not even a heroic death. You're an embarrassment to the name Eternal, and you'll be remembered save as an example of what happens to all who oppose the Emperor. Cyrus struggles to look at you, and it's probably the first time you've been this close to each other since Mistress's class. His face is nearly unrecognizable due to the severe burns. He attempts to speak, but only the utterance of discordant grunts from the scorched throat occurs. Doesn't matter. He has nothing of value to say. Traitors never do. You kneel down, and with your dagger, you end his life for good. What's next? Warwick suddenly asks. I report the death of this traitor to Jacob, and I return to my place by the Emperor's side, where I wait his further orders. As for you, I suggest you help what's left of your group. I believe I saw your sightmaster encased in ice, meaning he will no longer be able to carry out his duty. I think of a more worthy replacement than you. I can't think of a more worthy replacement than you, so I will make mention of it to Jacob. Warwick is surprised by your words. He looks back at the caravan site, which is still a mess from your previous ice spell. He then looks ahead and watches the flames consume the nearby forest. Better to kill 1,000 innocent men than to let one traitor sow chaos. Better you lay waste to a paradise than let it continue to house enemies of the Empire, you say, though Warwick certainly understands, even if he has never truly been in such a situation until now where it was necessary. Jacob's response when you meet him again is a little less understanding when he finds out how you handled things. Of course it is good that Cyrus is dead, but was it absolutely necessary to burn down an entire forest and sacrifice nearly an entire platoon of eyes, along with the entire complement of caravan guards? Jacob asks. I saw it as the best way to be sure to put an end to Cyrus, and I would think you of all people would be happy for the matter to be handled, given how worried you were about it before. The Empire will also be happy, and isn't that what's most important? That he can proceed with his war on the Falcons without further delay? Jacob pauses before addressing your statement. Yes, and I really wish we weren't doing that. Doing what? Going to war with the Falcon Kingdom. You don't believe the Emperor should crush its enemies, you ask? I don't believe we should waste the resources on a pointless war on a powerful nation that has never shown any signs of aggression. Just because they don't openly display it doesn't mean they aren't planning something, you say. Yes, I've heard the speech about the duplicitous gnome masters several times. You can't know how glad I was when I first found out that you managed to convince the Emperor to even postpone the war to take care of the shadows first. Can you imagine what might have happened had you not done that? Look, you know I serve the Empire, and my loyalty will never be in question to it. But on this point, I really don't think this war is a good idea in the long run. Do you not believe that wouldn't be better if we conserved our resources and pursued other ways to enrich the Empire that doesn't involve war? You convinced the Emperor once to postpone a potentially damaging war. Could you not sway his thoughts on the matter any further? Jacob, it is the Emperor's will that the Falcon Kingdom must be destroyed. The plan has already been set in motion. No words of mine would ever convince him otherwise, even if I wanted to. Which I don't, because as I see it, the gnomes, and by extension the Falcon Kingdom, must pay for their continued insult towards the Emperor. And that insult is their mere existence. Their punishment will be death. Jacob realizes that he will have no luck in attempting to incorporate you into his desire to convince the Emperor to not go to war, so he drops the issue. Good! I hope for the sake of the Empire, Well, I suppose my next task will be to find a few more recruits to fill in the gaps for the last fallen eyes. Warwick will certainly make a good sight master. Glad to hear that the pair of you worked so well together, and he survived. At least, never mind. Jacob once again is starting to act like he wants to address something more, but stops himself. You urge him to continue. What is it, Jacob? Nothing, just, your actions in Delurg, and also what you just recently did to put down one traitor. Well, I'm just saying that it's good that you are so dedicated. Remember that Empire must survive no matter what the cost. Of course, you don't need to remind me of such a thing. No, of course I don't, Jacob says and bids you goodbye. Yeah, we're kind of destroying too much. What's the point if we just rule over a burnt kingdom? You don't understand Jacob's odd behavior, especially since it seemed a little contradictory. One moment he was nearly scoffing you for your methods, the next he was praising you for them. When you tell the Emperor about your conversation with Jacob, he doesn't seem to be concerned. He's too excited about finally going to war with the Falcons. Woohoo, warfare! Jacob is like an old woman sometimes. He worries me too much, and that's what he does. The only thing we need to worry about is how to make sure none of those little gnome bastards escape this time. Haha, the Emperor says. They won't, you reply with certainty. So, do you guys want to hear the battle plan, or just skip straight to the war? Start a poll. What do? Skip to war or hear the battle plans? There we go. Starting the poll. Boom. Boom, boom. Start the countdown. Nice. All right. So that definitely worked out better than than our first plan. I think our character's a little too unhinged to be in charge of the thinking. We thought we were big brain, but we were proved to be smooth brain. To be fair, we slept with Mistress. That should have already proved how smooth brain we are. Here are the battle plans. Okay, let's see. The roll of the dice are concluded, and the results are battle plans. Okay, then. Battle plans. Save, replace, and then refresh. Swap. Okay, there we go. Captain Grutz shall lead the initial attack. Basically, he'll be making the frontline assault with the full intent on breaking through and marching onward into the Falcon heartland, pillaging, burning, rapping, and, all the usual things that orcs are best at. While his rank doesn't... I didn't want YouTube algorithm to hit me with that word. I'm just gonna go when I come across those kinds of words, okay? While, again, that's why I always say Sudoku rather than unaliving. Self-unaliving. Because YouTube instantly hits me with the yellow demonetization symbol. Okay. While his rank doesn't denote it, he'll be in charge of 3 battalions of orcs. Damn, that's huge. Which is nearly all of them in the Empire, the Emperor explains. 3 battalions? Sheesh. I hate the very idea of that many orcs being together. They tend to get unruly in large groups. Isn't that why we usually keep them in smaller groups away from each other? Jacob replies. We won't have that problem thanks to my son over here. Thanks to him, the orcs haven't giving us much discipline trouble at all. Besides, I fully expect that most of them won't survive this war, which will eliminate their drain on the economy due to their pay increase. Now, coming in to support the orcs will be our golems. We've got the battle mages ready on that front. Grape. Yeah, grape is a good idea. Yeah. Nice idea. Good suggestion. How come he doesn't have a higher rank, you ask? I was told he didn't want it, said that captain sounds more hands-on than major or anything higher. I don't think he cares what his title is really, the Emperor replies. What about Fort Soot? Who will be leading the attack on that place? Because from my understanding, it is one of the Falcom's best defended forts, Jacob asks. We'll be sending regular troops armed with Marik's new gunpowder weapons. They've been tested and they work quite well. As for who will primarily be in charge of the attack, you'll be pleased to know, Jacob, that I've taken your advice and placed one of your Eternals in charge. Captain Roland, I believe. Thank you, my Emperor. Don't thank me. Thank my son over here again. He was the one who looked over the military records of his former classmates, the Emperor says. Why did you pick Roland over the rest, Jacob asks. Obviously, because he seemed the most suited for the job. I know you initially said you were going to consider him for a fort commander position, but his talents would have been wasted in Nullen. Brenda would probably work better as a fort commander, while Roland, I believe, will thrive on the field of battle. Plus, I do remember him normally leading the attacks against me in Mistress's class. He is a natural leader. Besides, with him married to Brenda, it would probably be best if they did not serve in the same area anymore. You reply, true. And the other two? Warwick seems to be doing just fine as an eye, and that is where he should remain. As for Kane, well, his service record is very impressive. I believe he will be serving the Empire's best at his position as a fort commander in Rusk. He has obviously made a reputation for himself as the Butcher of Rusk, and it's been keeping the peace there. No point in changing what's working. Besides, he seems a bit unstable, and while that sort of personality might work up there, I'd rather a clearer mind like Roland's to be at work in the assault on Fort Soot. Okay, so the third prong of this attack will be coming more from the southern front. Since the Falcons have a weaker defenses there, we will primarily be using traditional troops, though some of Marek's weapons will be used there as well. The Emperor continues. Is it one being led by that female captain, you ask? Major Alison Crozer. Her previous assignment was Fort Destiny in Rask until Kane replaced her, Jacob replies. From what I know, she was efficient at her job and due for promotion. Well, this position is a good opportunity for her to prove if she is worthy of it. Though, just in case she isn't, I have plans to have you assist personally on that front, the Emperor says to you. Wherever you feel I would serve best, you reply. Oh, I have a few ideas where you'd serve best, a familiar voice suddenly says. Oh God. Oh, I have a few ideas of where you'd serve best, a familiar voice suddenly says, and you wince when you hear it. Easy there, son, the Emperor whispers. Wow, it sounded like I was talking to a horse. When he notices your discomfort of Mistress suddenly entering the room. I'm fine, you whisper back, nodding at the Emperor. How good of you to be on time as usual, Jacob remarks. How cute of you to attempt sarcasm. I arrive when I am pleased, Jacob. Besides, I don't see Marek here. I swear that Rock-Eater could at least crawl out of his hole for one moment just to attend these big meetings. Marek's duty is being served in other ways. He doesn't need to be here. He's designing our new weapons. Now, did you do as I asked? The Emperor asks Mistress. What? Rile up Gnoll tribes on the western borders of the Falcon Kingdom? Yes, of course, though I don't know how efficiently they'll be, given that they're a bunch of idiotic trolls. As long as they cause enough trouble for the Falcons' western front, it'll be worth it. The more the Falcons have to stretch their resources, the better. So, is that it? Was that all you needed from me? Mistress asks. I'll also be needing the current Svelkamerks in the area. And I'll be needing a large sum of gold to convince them to actually get involved in this little war of yours too. And even then, it might not be enough. Since when do the Svelk turn down gold? Profit and pain are all your race cares about, you say. Mistress stares at you with one of those cold eyes of her, since not accepting you as an equal. You humans truly know nothing about our race. Of course, I hardly expect a mewling baby like you to know anything anyway. Mewling baby? I wouldn't have expected a better insult coming from you, you respond in a half-bored tone. Oh, have you missed my verbal humiliation then? Well, perhaps we can meet after this little gathering, and I can once again subject you to real humiliation, for old time's sake. Would you like that? Is that what gets you going? Sorry, but I'm afraid I'm fully aware of most of your best material now, and it would be lost on me. I wouldn't want you to strain yourself in thinking up new ways to futilely try to make me mad. Ah, yes, I imagine you would be beyond such things now. I suppose I'll just have to take joy in your continual torment that you know that you'll experience my flesh intimately, yet will never experience it again. Why did I have to read that sentence out loud? Considering you offered your body so freely in exchange for your life last time, I'd say my chances are still good that I could experience it again if I really wanted to. Oh! Do you fancy your chances then? Do you wish to continue our engagement from last time? We're doing this in front of my dad! Because, as I remember it, it was ultimately I who had the advantage, and it's only due to Jacob stopping the fight that you still live. Enough! The pair of you, the Emperor orders. You'll get your damn gold in abundance, and just make sure you gather all the Svelk in the area. I'll tell you where I want them later. I'll relay the message to the main captains, but I can't promise you that they will stick around. Well, at least not until they've been paid. Now, is that all? Yes, that's all, the Emperor says, and waves his hand dismissively at Mistress, which visibly irritates her and amuses you. As Mistress starts to leave, she can't help but get in the last word. I hope you realize that ultimately this war against the Falcons is pointless. Even if you win, the Empire will still fall eventually. It is time, it's coming to an end, and the sooner you realize that, the better off you will be. You watch your acidic tongue, Svelk. I tolerate you because you're useful, but I won't be spoken to in such a manner, the Emperor remarks in an annoyed tone. Mistress stops and turns her head slightly to answer. I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to the one who is currently watching my ass as I walk out the door. The one having lustful thoughts about the ways he'd like to violate my supple body and then slit my throat with the very dagger I gave him. I'll let you figure out who that is, she remarks and leaves. I wasn't, you protest when the Emperor and Jacob both look at you. Don't worry about it, son. She's just messing with you again. Let's get back to business, the Emperor remarks. As the Emperor and Jacob both continue talking about battle plans, it takes you a little longer to get your head back into it. You can't believe you managed to let her get you again with such a crude remark. Of course, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to you if it hadn't been true! I don't like where this is going. Back to the story. And there we go. Okay, so years pass. Save. And refresh. Hector, yeah, I agree. Our character has some serious issues. I don't like the mistress. Neither do I. I don't think anyone here does, except for the character itself. Year 23. With another town taken, you put your sword through the chest of a Falcon soldier begging for his life. One of the many from your experience. The average Falcon soldier to you does not seem to match up to the Empire's ones in any capacity. They certainly not better in any ways of martial combat or endurance. The only real advantage you can see them having is their gunpowder weaponry and better proficiency with it. And even that isn't much of an advantage anymore, given the Emperor's Darrow friend has been evening up the odds in that way. You walk around surveying the carnage of burning buildings and the Empire's soldiers busily searching homes to make sure there aren't any more of the enemy hiding out. A small explosion grabs your attention, and you see a single Empire soldier staggering out of a home, with one of his arms blown off. He stumbles for a bit and then collapses before others rush to his aid. Traps have probably done more damage to the battalion you were assigned to rather than actual combat. This was an easy battle. In fact, your whole time being assigned to Major Kronz's battalion has been a bit of a breeze for you. The southern western front of the Falcon Kingdom isn't as heavily defended, or at least from your experience, it isn't defended well. Perhaps all of the better Falcon soldiers are on the other fronts. You sort of wish the Emperor had seen fit to have you aid Captain Roland, whose battalion has been seeing a lot of the major fighting. However, the Emperor firmly stated that your skills would be better used here, and so you shall carry out your duty. Your main goal is to keep the Falcons from attempting to pull any sort of major flanking maneuver and keeping them boxed in. While conquest isn't the main goal, it is a secondary objective to make a slow push northward towards the Falcon heartland, though you imagine you'll soon face Falcon reinforcements from the west before then. That is, they don't still have their hands full with the Knoll tribes currently assaulting them on the eastern front. Another victory for the Empire. Hey, Miss Sunshine? You hear, Mr. Sunshine, you hear from a voice behind. It's Major Krosner. Oh, she is a competent leader and has obviously earned her position, but much like your experience with Grutz, she seems a little too relaxed on the rules of protocol at times, such as her periodic insistence on being too playful with you. I've told you before to stop calling me by that ridiculous name, you snap. Hey, I didn't invent it. That's what the troops call you behind your back due to your unique personality. You begin to get angry. Are you telling me I don't have the respect of the troops and they use this name to mock me? No, they're scared shitless of you, hence why they don't call it to your face. The sunshine reference is due to the fact that you're so damn grim and merciless all the time. It's supposed to be ironic, I guess. If you'd like, I could tell them to start calling you Mr. Harbinger of Destruction instead. Pretty sure the Falcons already call you that, Major Krantz replies. I'm not interested in having any sort of witty nickname, and anyone continues to refer to me other than by my name or my rank, I will have them flogged for their impertinence, and that's just for the first offense. Well, I guess I better relay that to the troops. Fun and humor are cancelled until further notice. I like her! I like her! Fun? We are at war, Major. That is not a time to be having fun. It is not a time for jokes. It is a time to be crushing our enemies and ensuring their extinction. And you're claiming that you don't find those two bloody pastimes fun for you? Let's talk seriously for a moment. I've seen you in battle, and you're truly a sight to behold. It's almost like watching the work of art with how you move from enemy to enemy, slaying all of those that oppose you. And that's just close combat. I'm not even referring to when you're throwing flaming hunks of rocks at the enemy, and then following it up with a few lightning bolts. My point is, I've seen you lay waste to our opponents, and believe it's more than just a job to you. Yes, you're serving the Empire and the Emperor, but you're having fun doing it. This war is fun for you, and that's good. But some of us need to find fun in perhaps less extreme ways, and sometimes that might involve the cheap joke here and there. Surely that doesn't warrant a death sentence. I mean, all of our lives could be snuffed out any time. What's the harm in a little humor as long as everyone is still doing their job? The Major's words hit a mark with you. You can't deny that you're having what might be considered fun when you're in battle. You enjoy it because it's what you're meant to do. You also think back to what the Emperor said to you the one time. Sometimes you're too tightly wound, son. This might be one of those times. All right, you've made your point. Fine, nobody will be flogged. But I'd better not hear the name Mr. Sunshine, or any other cute nickname within earshot. Of course, sir. Good. So, the troops say my battle techniques look like works of art? We want approval! We want approval! We definitely have issues. No, I believe they just see you as a whirlwind of violence that they need to stay out of the way, unless they get caught in the path. I'm the one who believes your battle techniques look like works of art, but then I'm the daughter of the army. So I don't much know about real art. I just know what I like, the Major says with a smile. Oh, she flirting. She flirting. She likes us. Oh, well, thanks. You answer, not feeling quite sure of what else to say. With the debate about acceptable protocol out of the way, Major Krosner goes on to tell you that despite significant damage, most of the town's population is still alive. What? Well, we're learning. While you're usually known for razing entire settlements to the ground, the Major is slightly less bloodthirsty than you are. While I know you like to eliminate enemies of the Empire and stomp them into the red spot into the ground, I suggest we not do that this time, and use this town as a stepping spot for our supplies and reinforcements. Perhaps. But we'll have to leave a detachment here to oversee the place. Well, how big is that going to have to be? Not that big, I should think, since we really don't believe the population is going to give us more trouble. I've seen most of them, and they look thoroughly defeated. True, but I believe an example should still be made just to get the point across of who is in charge. I'd say about 20 peasants should do it. A mixture of different ages and genders too, just to show them that we're being serious. I'd ask if that is really necessary, but I know what your answer is going to be. Very well, I will get one of our soldiers on it. I sometimes have concerns that we'll go too far, and their hate will override their fear and cause a revolt. And that's why I prefer to raise entire settlements. Nobody can revolt when they're dead. Oh! But then what's left to rule? Krosner asks before taking her leave. She has a point, but it isn't one you've concerned yourself with during this war, mainly because the Emperor has made it quite clear to you that he's actually more interested in destroying the Falcon Kingdom than conquering it. This is more of a war of annihilation than one of subjugation. Just as you're about to oversee the execution of the peasants, a messenger arrives. For your eyes only, sir. Important message from the Emperor, the messenger says and hands you a sealed scroll. You take the scroll and quickly open it. It has been too long since you last heard anything directly from the Emperor. Upon reading it, it states that you are to report directly to the location where Marek has been making all of his new weapons. Doesn't state why, just says that you need to be there. You've never been to Marek's factory before, Actually, you've never even met Marek before, despite having heard of him several times. I guess this will be your introduction. It's a little odd to be taken out of the fighting like this, and also not explaining why, but the Emperor must have his reasons. You immediately tell the Major. You're leaving? Why? She asks. Can't reveal why, but I assure you that it is on the Emperor's orders, you reply. Oh, well, I suppose you'll have to go then. This will be a huge blow to the might of our forces with you gone. You shouldn't think such things. You're soldiers of the Empire. You are more than any match for any enemy, let alone the Falcons. You're also a skilled leader and tactician that has kept our losses to a minimum. You'll do fine without me. I suppose we can get by without your battle skills, but how will we ever cope without your cheerful personality around here? She says with a serious face, which then slowly turns into a smile. Normally, this is the kind of thing that perturbs you, but maybe you're getting used to it. Well, I'm sure my sunny disposition has made it a lasting impression that it's now within all of your hearts, so that you may experience it wherever you go, you reply in a deadpan manner, surprising the Major. Was that a joke you just made? How the hell would I know? It's not like I've ever made one before. Well, you're on a roll now. Hopefully you'll come back so we can actually experience this less self-controlled version of yourself. Anything's possible, I suppose, you say and take your leave. Your only major decision now is whether or not to take the long journey around back with all the pacified territory you've been pushing through during your time with Kruz's battalion, or risk taking a shortcut through the disputed territory now that you know it's still being battled over by both sides. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, chat, this is on you. Which path? Slow and safe, fast and risky. Start the poll, refresh the thing, go to here, and boom! Countdown. Oh dear. Grumpy and sunshine tropes. I love it. Exactly. Yeah, the author is messing with us. He's like, oh, you thought you were big brain? Go on, be big brain again. I dare you. Screw safety. Aya! Aya, welcome, Aya. How you been? Aya. About the narration thing. I am so sorry. I didn't get around to the recording. It completely slipped my mind. If you could send me the script one more time, I will have it for you by the end of tomorrow. Okay, that's a promise. All right, just send me the script one more time. Okay, I'm so sorry. I saw your message just before going live, so I didn't have time to reply to it. But welcome, Aya. I hope you're having a fun evening. Hope you've been well. It's so nice to see you again. Yeah, I saw your message. I was just like, oh my god. All right. Oh my gosh, the poll is much closer this time. Woohoo! Yeah. I hope you for those of you in chat who don't know Aya is a really talented MMD maker. It is MMD, right? So Aya creates like stories as well as like music dance videos using I believe it's like preset animations or something. I'm just gonna say you're an animator, okay? I'm just gonna call you an animator. MMD, okay, yeah. So Aya makes like really nice MMDs, and I offered to do some voicing for her, and I completely forgot. I'm terrible. I'm bad. You may use all the Zenai emojis. Sorry, my phone ran out of battery. No worries, Ryan. No worries. Okay, the result of the poll: 62% say slow and safe. The others say fast and risky. Okay, slow and safe it is. We take the long way around. Save. Refresh. Okay. Refresh the page. Switch around. Okay. Taking the long way around. I do original animations. Yeah, it's so cool. Wait, can I quickly grab your channel if that's okay? Let me just quickly grab your channel. There we go. Boom. And then I will post it in chat right now. There we go. Check out the animations. Boom. Also, Roberto's on strike right now. Roberto's not working, so I have to like manually link people. There we go. Thank you, Aya. All right. While it is not usually like you to play it safe, and you aren't one to avoid conflict, your present duty is to reach your destination in a timely manner. A shortcut might seem quicker, but given that you know how hot the conflict is going on right now, it is likely that you might very well get caught in the middle of it, and thus delaying your orders. Your trip is predictably uneventful, save for running into a few small regiments of reinforcements that you redirect towards the town you've just conquered. When you eventually make it back to Arret, you only make a short stops in the villages to water your horse. Eventually, I almost said hose. Water your hose. Thank you. No worries. I am leaving the stream now. No worries, Miku. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming by. Let me give you a wave. Bye-bye. Bye, Miku. The VOD will be here. All right. All right. Eventually, you see the factory site rather than the permanent black cloud that hovers over it. The factory has somewhat been a source of concern by the local population, as the pollution from the place has contaminated the nearby rivers, as well as the land surrounding it. However, it has provided a new source of employment, though it is not the safest place to work. But in this world, what is safe? When you get there, you are met by a small contingent of eyes standing outside the factory's gates, which are locked up. I don't know if I should be happy or worried that the Emperor has sent his terrible weapons of righteous justice. One of the eyes says. The eye doesn't look familiar to you, but he is obviously with you during the capture of Cyrus. How's the frostbite? Good to know your words are remembered at least. What is going on? Apparently, a few days ago, a giant green monster punched through one of the doors to the basement of the factory and killed several workers and guards before we got here. Someone claimed it was a troll. If it was a troll, I can only imagine it dug itself up from underground, since that's where they like to live, right? So I've heard, but what are you going to do standing out here? Sitemaster Ulslum's orders. The troll hasn't left the factory for whatever reason, and he wants to make sure it's at least contained while he and some others try to kill the thing. Though they've been in there since yesterday, I fear the worst. And Solemn? What happened to Warwick? Sitemaster Warwick is stationed elsewhere with another group of eyes. I don't know where, so are you going in? Of course. You don't need us to come in with you, do you? The eye asks while uncloaking the gate. Yeah, he doesn't want to get burned again. No, continue your little guard duty. I believe you'd only get in my way anyway, you say and open up the gate. No sooner have you entered when the eyes close the gates and lock it back up. You shake your head and continue and cautiously walk through the factory's outer yard. You see all manner of strange machines, along with hundreds of boxes of various weapons, large and small, set for shipping. But the place is dead silent. You're not even finding any dead bodies. You're guessing they must be inside the factory itself, and probably the troll as well. Oh, I'm working on a plushie. Oh, nice. That's cool. And working at the same time. Oh, that's great. I hope my voice is soothing, or I hope that my voice is pleasant sounding. You're wondering where Marek is in all of this. From what you know, he and a smaller group of Drow work underneath this factory, unknown to most, even regular workers. There is supposed to be a battle mage that acts as the factory supervisor too. On top of everything else, now that you have to look for a site master who is supposed to be here taking care of this problem, and you still don't understand why you were dragged off the front line just to handle a troll, or what you assume is a troll. When you enter the factory itself, that's when you see all the damage to the place. It's a mess with broken equipment and dead bodies everywhere. While you heard the stories about how terrible trolls are, you nearly have a hard time believing it was just one of them that caused all this damage. Where can I find this choose your own adventure game? Oh, yeah, sure. Here you go. Yeah, this one is a very dark story. Our character definitely has mental issues. We're playing as a villain protagonist. But yeah, this website is awesome. It's full of stories. After we do this story, we're gonna do a zombie survival one. So, Will Dreamer, welcome. Hi, Jono. Sorry I'm late. No worries. We got pulled off the front lines of the war in order to stop a troll that is attacking a weapons factory. There you go, Aya. I'm leaving the stream now. Yeah, bye, Miku. Okay. Besides looking like a tomb, the factory is about as silent as one as well. You would have thought the troll would at least be feasting on its kills, or at least walking around the factory, but you've heard nothing. This, of course, puts you more on guard, since you're wondering if the thing is aware of your presence and is silently stalking you. You climb up to one of the upper walkways to get a better view. You still can't see the creature from your position, but apparently it was up here at some point, since you're finding the odd limb along the walkway. The supervisor's office is up here, so you decide to head towards it, hoping that maybe you'll find some answers. As you get closer, you see the battle must have taken place near there because you see a body just outside the doorway to the office. There are a couple of other bloody bodies lying near it as well. Upon closer inspection, the body just outside the doorway is headless, but wearing a robe. This was probably the battle mage supervisor. The other bodies are a little fresher, but still in mauled condition. They wear the uniform of an eye. But you suddenly have more pressing concerns, when not one, but 2 trolls eventually appear on the far end of the walkway. He'll be done when he decides to be done. Oh, when are you going to be done? Depends how much my voice can hold out, but probably another 40 minutes. So, yeah, I want to make sure I take care of my voice. So, yeah, I can already feel it. I can already feel the back of my voice from all the talking getting a little raspy. So I'll probably be good for like another chapter or two, another couple of chapters. Okay. Not 1 troll, but 2. They look every bit as vicious as you've heard. Big, green, long, gangly limbs, and seem to lope in a jerky manner towards you, snarling and howling the whole time. You have no idea how such large creatures were able to hide from you, but they've made their presence known now, and you're trapped with no easy retreat. I suspect there are more than just 2. They're quick, but you manage to unleash a single bolt of flame at one of the trolls, which causes you to immediately leap over the railing and take a long drop down to the floor below, busy trying to beat the flames out of its hide. It is so focused on doing this that it fails to realize that it is in a factory where several explosive elements. All it takes is for one of the trolls to crash its body into one of the small barrels of the volatile gunpowder, and the troll is blown to pieces through the force of the explosion. It is even enough to rock you to the floor of the walkway. You get up just in time for the second troll to smash its fist into your chest, and you go flying into the office, hitting the wall. You feel like you've been hit by a giant club and struggle to catch your breath. You scan the room, and to your left you see another dead body of an eye. This one is the Sightmaster, and he looks as if all his limbs have been broken. It's text-based, choose your own adventure. Is this reading game, or is this a game where you actually explore somewhere? It's a reading game. It's a reading game. So yeah. I do play normal games on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Sunday is community night, where I either do these reading stories or I play games with the community members. So yeah, the next gaming stream will be on Thursday. I take Monday to Thursday. I'm because I work a full-time job during the week, so I can't stream every day. As much as I would love to stream every day, I need to eat and pay rent. Okay. The troll advances, and you manage to kick the door shut, which it slows it down long enough to buy you some time. When it slams the door back open, hey, Key, Lael, this is what we did. Just the game of shutting the door. That Baldur's Gate stream was fun. Okay, when it slams the door back, you cast a bolt of flame in its face. It reels back, bellowing with pain and clutching its eye. But unlike his friend, he isn't running away. Ignoring the pain, you stand back with sword in your hand. You slash the troll across one of its knees, causing it to stumble. It manages to swipe its claws across your stomach, but fortunately you dodge most of the attack and only suffer a ripped armor and a surface wound. The troll tries to continue its success, but even as quick as it is, you are able to get the advantage and bring your blade across its thick neck. Unfortunately for you, to sever a troll's head completely, you fail to sever that troll's head completely, and your sword gets stuck halfway through it. Black blood is spraying everywhere, and the troll grabs your sword arm, digging its claws into the skin and muscle. It will very likely rip it off if you don't do something immediately. Okay, we got another poll. Pull your dagger and stab it in the arm, or cast another bolt of flame to its face. Okay, what are we gonna do? What do? Dagger to the face? Oh wait, no, dagger. Stab it in the arm. Dagger to the arm, or fire to the face. Again, because we did that once and he ignored it. Start the countdown. Boom. Bum, bum. Oh, all this music is I've got the license to use it. So we've got all this dramatic fantasy music that I have playing. I try to pick a different album every week. If it resisted the pain of a knife in its throat, fire is probably the best bet. But then again, if he ignored the fire before, then I don't know exactly. Oh, it's a tricky one. The author is sly, huh? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's dancing. The votes are dancing. Chat's going with dagger to the arm. Okay. You pull the dagger and stab it in the arm. Save. Refresh the page. Switch over. Whoops. I could tell, but I'm keeping my mouth shut. Okay, Jetski, thank you. Yeah. You pull out your dagger and begin repeatedly stabbing the troll in the arm to get to the point where you nearly sever it. Its grip loosens as it hisses in pain. You nearly get your head punched in by the troll's other fist, but you fall backwards on the walkway in time for it to miss. The troll fails to follow up with another attack, since it attempts to remove the sword from its neck, presumably to regenerate properly. Oh right, our dagger was made by the Svelk, so it's like extra special. Oh, and the trolls can regenerate wounds super fast. Taking advantage of this breather, you cast a lightning blast right at the sword, which acts as a great conductor to fry the troll inside out. You have to back up just so the troll's flailing body doesn't hit you. Eventually, when the troll's body is burnt to a crisp, and you're fairly certain you fried its vital organs enough that it can't possibly regenerate, you stop, and the troll crashes to the floor, still smoking and twitching. Then you retrieve your sword and finish decapitating the troll, just to be sure. You take a small rest after your battle, though you keep alert for another troll. Thankfully, no more show up, but there is still the question about Marek, and where the hell the trolls came from in the first place. Both potential answers are going to lie in the basement, so you imagine that's where you continue your exploration. The factory basement is in just about as much disarray as the ground floor, and there are a few dead bodies, but no trolls or Darrow for that matter. You search until you come across a large metal door, which has been partially ripped off its hinges. A long set of stairs goes down, and it would appear there is an even deeper part of the factory. You go down the stairway, which seems like forever, and when you finally get to the bottom, you hear a lot of shouting in an unfamiliar language. You walk down the corridor and find a large open area with presumably more factory equipment, but some of it looks very strange. You see machines which are emanating a lightning arc similar to the spell you can cast and what nature does during a storm. Other things look like giant tubes with something inside, though from this distance you can't tell what. It's a laboratory of a mad scientist. Among the machinery, you see a short, heavy armored figures busily trying to clean up the area. You can't even see their faces, but you're guessing these are the infamous Darrow. Oh, the dwarves! Okay. You there. Who are you, surfacer? Are you one of the factory workers? A deep voice suddenly calls to you from the right. You look to see a very pale figure wearing a white coat covered in blood, and a bunch of other things you can't identify. This bald, wide-eyed fellow is about the same size as the armored figures, so you come to the one conclusion. The Emperor sent me. Are you Marek? I am Marek. You must be the one he refers to as his son. Why would the Emperor send you here? Alright, the dwarves live a very long time, but they go insane pretty easily. So most dwarves, like, try to remove themselves from the gene pool before they go insane. I am Marek. I was only given orders to come here, but within such time I faced 2 trolls, and that apparently slaughtered not only many factory workers, but its supervisor and several of the Emperor's eyes. I thought they might have killed you as well, but since that is not the case, I'm hoping that you can shed some light on the situation. Shit, I had a feeling one of them escaped up there, but not 2. I had assumed that the frickin' Ponzi wizard would at least be able to handle it. Figures that fop even had the stones, wouldn't have the stones when faced with such a beast, let alone 2 of them. Escaped? Excuse me, but what the hell were trolls doing here in the first place? And why did you not send men to help kill the beasts? If you had not noticed by the mess already, but my men and I have been dealing with trolls down here as well. It looks as if you were not fighting them when I arrived, and you still have not answered why there were trolls down here in the first place. I know you're held in high regard by the Emperor, and obviously your skills are impressive, if scrawny thing like you can handle 2 adult trolls, but you will cease questioning me in such a manner now, surfacer. I will question your competence if you are the reason for this disaster. These trolls have just caused a stop in production, which is vital to the Emperor's war on the Falcon Kingdom. Marek's expression begins to show more aggression, though he's smiling at the same time. He almost looks like he's going to break into laughter. Surfacer, I have known the Emperor much longer than you have ever been alive. Maybe you're unfamiliar with the complexities of our relationship, so I will let your words pass as one of a concerned child for his parents' wishes. But never question my competence ever again. I am the very reason the Emperor is able to pursue the successful war on the Falcons in the first place. My work here is to find even better ways to crush his enemies. The trolls? Part of my experiments is new weapons for the war. Sometimes experiments fail. Science is not always exact. Do you think you were the first Eternal? Yes, I am very well aware that I was among the first successful ones, but that still doesn't excuse why you sent no men to at least scout the factory if you believe trolls had escaped. The Emperor should have told you more about our people then. We Drow do not step foot on the surface if we can help it. My people may have an alliance with the Emperor, but that alliance does not extend to such madness. I was led to believe that madness was a common Drow trait. It is, but even then there are limits. Indeed, I may very well be among the most mad, but even I will not soil myself by setting foot on your surface world. But the factory is enclosed. You'd still be shielded from the sun if that is a death to your kind. Marek begins laughing in a tone that is much different from his deep voice. It's an annoying, ear-piercing laugh. Your ignorance of the Drow is embarrassing, as it is usual for a surfacer. I suggest you learn more in your pitifully short lifespan. Ask your Emperor for guidance. Perhaps he will be more patient to tell you more about us. I do not. I have work to do for the Emperor, Marek says, and turns away from you. His fellow Drow have been standing by and watching the pair of you the entire time, as if ready to act should violence break out. Violence may still occur if Marek continues to act dismissively towards you. Do not walk away from me, Drow. You still have much to answer for. What exactly is it that you are doing here? What is so important that you carelessly endanger the war effort? You will give me answers of substance that I can give to the Emperor. Your words cause Marek to stop. Your loyalty to the Emperor is admirable. Tell me, though, what gives you cause to believe that you'd make it out of here to be able to report to him? Trust me, Drow, I may indeed not be able to take all of you, but you I would make an example of. Marek once again makes that annoying laugh again. Your knowledge of the Drow continued to lack. If you truly knew anything, you'd know that the death is not something the Drow fear. And now, it is you who do not listen. I said nothing of killing you. I said to make an example of. After I beat you within an inch of your life, I'll drag your body to the surface, which you so obviously loathe so much. I thank you for exposing your flaws with our short meeting. Marek turns to face you once again. He studies you as if to assess if you're being serious. He realizes you are. Well, I'll be. A surfacer nearly as mad as a Drow, for it is the only explanation for your threats that you speak out your ass in ignorance. Heh. Well, very well then. Perhaps we do have something in common. Come with me then, Eternal. I will satisfy your questions, and then you can go tell the Emperor that we're not just playing with our down here. Marek waves away and the other Drow and tells them to get back to work while he goes on to explain what's going on down here. He tells you that while he has provided the Emperor with the gift of gunpowder weapons to combat the Falcons, he states that he is bored with creating such things. He wants to move on to other more interesting things. You don't exactly understand everything he's saying, but apparently this includes altering trolls in a way to make them use them as living weapons. Obviously, success has eluded him, but Marek claims it will work eventually. He just needs more time. He then goes on to say that such schematics of the weapons he already made should be somewhat known to the surfacers now, and that perhaps these weapons could be built in another factory run purely by surfacers, allowing him, of course, to work more unencumbered by the possibility of his experiments causing problems in the future. I will report this to the Emperor and allow him to decide, but personally, I can't say, as this is a good use of time and resources. Better to perfect the weapons you've already created than play around with uncertain ones. Funny you should say that, Eternal, because I could say the same of your kind. There is a difference. Obviously, when I was born, I was still not a mindless and untrainable animal like a troll. No, but obviously an effort was made to make you better than the average human, and then some. No effort was spared in perfecting you and your kind until some of you actually managed to survive the entire process. Marek's words about the creation of the Eternals piques your interest. So tell me, Marek, how much were you involved in the creation of the Eternals? Sadly, very little. Most of my ideas for the project were considered a bit too extreme. Then that fool Jacob somehow managed to gain complete control of the project. The advantage of being a surfacer, I suppose. If I had control, you and your fellow classmates would have been even better. In fact, you wouldn't have had to endure so much training at all. You would have instantly been born with natural skill and talent. If only the Emperor saw the wisdom in continuing the project with me at the helm, I could truly create some living weapons. What are you talking about exactly? For someone so close to the Emperor, I see he keeps you out of the loop on things. If he is, then there must be a reason for it. I have probably said too much. I suggest you want more answers, go then speak with him. Go now. I have work to do. Much work to do. When Marek says this, he begins making nervous twitches, and you see him eye a nearby metal door, which makes you suspicious. Oh! Oh boy! Oh boy! Do we let curiosity kill the chat? Kill the chat. Curiosity kill the chat? Check door. Go to dad. Go to father. Starting the poll. Oh boy. What you gonna do, chat? Curiosity killed the chat. Bum bum ba-dum ba-dum. Bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-da-dum. 3, 2, 1. Bing bing. Wow. Not a single deviation in the votes. Everybody wants to find the door. All right. All right, it is. Let us confront Marek. Save. And then refresh. Swap. What? Uh-oh, that's a very short chapter. Whatever Marek is hiding behind the door has piqued your interest, for you know he's hiding something that could possibly threaten the Empire. You make your way towards the door, and Marek comes just shy of physically stopping you. Hey, where are you going? He asks. I want to see what's behind that door. Now step aside, Marek. You can't. That's dangerous material in there. Chemicals and stuff like that. Safe for us, Darrow, but completely toxic to a human like you. Well, as you pointed out not a few minutes ago, I'm better than the average human. Now stand aside. You can't, Marek shrieks and begins giggling. Marek, last chance to get out of my way. Marek suddenly stops his annoying giggling and begins snorting and hyperventilating while giving you a hostile stare. It would be almost amusing if you could see the humorous side of it. Alright, fine, but if you're going to spoil the surprise, he shrieks and gets out of your way. You step to the metal door and open up to a platform level, which overlooks a huge room. It's nearly the size of a small hamlet, you think. There are several ladders that descend down to the lower levels, which contain translucent containers all hooked up with tubing and connected with each other, and large strange machines. Even from this distance, you can make out the small figures floating in the liquid containers. You're about to ask Marek what this is all when suddenly you hear him scream, "Surprise!" And then the back of your head is blown off by Marek's personal pistol. Your lifeless body slumps to the floor soon after you part with your brains do. Marek and his fellow Darrow cover up your death by explaining to the Emperor that the escaped trolls killed you. The Emperor temporarily mourns your death, but ultimately decides that if something like a troll killed you, then perhaps you weren't worthy of your status after all. Surprise! I warned you, chat. I warned you. Curiosity killed the chat. Okay, let's go report to the Emperor now. So let's pretend we didn't get our brains blown out. Bruh, I knew it. While part of you dies with satisfaction. Yep, at least your curiosity was sated. I guess you guys just couldn't go on with the story without knowing what was behind the door. While part of you wants to confront Marek on your suspicions that he's not telling you everything. Oh, he was probably growing an army of Eternals in there. You get the impression that you've pushed your luck enough with taking an aggressive stance. There are some unknown factors going on here, and you'd probably be better just reporting to the Emperor about all of this. He knows Marek and the Darrow better than you do. I'll leave you to it then, and I shall tell the Emperor that the situation here has been dealt with, along with your suggestions for a second factory. Marek seemingly ignores your statement and goes back to ordering his fellow Darrow. You make your way to the exit, and Marek suddenly calls out to you. Yes, on your way, Eternal. Back to your accused surface. Its days are numbered, and you know that will be the day that What was I talking about? Back to work, you lot. On your way out, you tell the eyes to continue guarding the factory until further notice, and make your journey back to the capital. When you get to the Emperor's room, he is hunched over a large map, placing small metal figures in certain locations. There you are, my boy. Did you hear? We just took Fort Soot. A great victory at this day. Though we need to shore up our defenses there, I trust by your presence that you've taken care of whatever problem happened at the factory and is now up and running again. I regret to tell you that the problem has only been partially solved. Oh, I trust you have good reason for this oversight? You explain everything to the Emperor, hoping that he isn't mad. Fortunately, he isn't, or at least he isn't mad at you. Bah, damn that crazy Darrow and his experiments. I told him I need the practical, not fancy super weapons. Trolls, what the hell is he thinking? You know his race was once on the losing end of a war with those beasts. Marek himself would have been eaten by one had I not stepped in and saved his ass. Okay, I have a leeway of peasants to build another factory then. I probably should have several anyway. I just didn't want to waste time and resources on building them right now. So, you're just going to give Marek what he wants? Why not? We gave Grutz what he wanted, didn't we? And he's certainly less deserving. Besides, Marek's right. He's already provided the schematics for most of the cannons, muskets, pistols, and other types of weapons. I'm fairly certain that we can have him purely run human factory now. The common folk aren't entirely dim. Marek can have his little so-called secret workshop, and maybe he'll even come up with something useful. I am still concerned about Marek. Seemed like he was hiding something more than just experimenting on trolls, though. Of course he was. He probably has something that's really twisted going on behind closed doors. But for all his madness, secrets, and genuine Darrow isolationist xenophobia, he's loyal. He'll do nothing that will harm the Empire, especially since he has no desire to rule it. Darrow pacts are for life, and to break one would be as offensive to them as walking on the surface. The Emperor says this with a lot of certainty, though you're still a little apprehensive. However, the Emperor has had more dealings with the Darrow and known Marek much longer than you have, so he's more knowledgeable on this than you. Very well, if you're not concerned, I shall cease my own. Good, but I'm glad you're suspicious. Being paranoid keeps your wits sharp and alert. But besides, you might have been partially right. While I know Marek doesn't have any intentional desires to harm the Empire, his work may unintentionally harm it, as shown with this incident with his troll experiment. I will have a personal talk with him, if just to keep him on a tighter leash, so to speak. I'm still confused on one thing, though. Why send me? Because you get things done, of course. What was I going to do? Have Jacob send more eyes? You see how well that worked, and given that the problem was trolls, it's a good thing I sent you, rather than lose even more of them. I know whatever it was that was the problem, you'd be able to handle it. I see. It's just, I thought my role in the Falcon War was more important. It is, my son, and this was still some related to said war, and trust me, it was far more important than winning some small battle somewhere. The Emperor steps forward towards you and gives you a familiar hand on your shoulder a bit, where he is about to tell you something he feels you should take to heart. Listen, I know you probably would like to be in the fighting in the thick of this war, slaying falcons left and right. I know you'd be successful and good at it. However, you are more than just some glorified soldier to be sent in to fight and die. Hell, I may have even told you to take a backup of eyes had I known about the trolls with this recent incident. Wait, are you trying to protect me? Of course I am. Yes, I am well aware that your life is built on danger and that you've never been a stranger to life and death situations, but I like to keep your chances of staying alive, at least out of the impossible zone. You have been an indispensable to me, and I am not going to risk sending you into a meat grinder just because you fight well. You are much more important. I need you as not only a commander of troops, but also as my personal agent. Now, is there anything else? You take the opportunity to tell the Emperor about what exactly is going on your side of the war front. He seems pleased with the information and tells you that you can go back to assist Croz's battalion now that your assignment is over. The Emperor goes on to say how he continues to be proud of your accomplishments and that he means it when he says just how important you are to him. You leave the palace with a great feeling of pride and accomplishment. Pride and accomplishment. Not just that though. You feel like you're generally appreciated, and coming from the Emperor, well, there can be nothing better. Okay, Jono, I'm back. Welcome back, Stalkers. So we went to the factory. We're fighting in a war. We then got sent back to the weapons factory where there were trolls, and we met the crazy dwarf who's working on a secret project that has us concerned. So we went back to the Emperor, and the Emperor is pleased with us. Since you haven't been gone long, you make your way back to the ex-Falkian town you've just conquered and find that Croz's army hasn't moved yet. You're back already? That was quick. We hardly had time to miss you, the Croza says. Well, I knew you'd all be lost without me, so I figured I'd better hurry back as soon as possible. Another joke? Before you left, you were attempting some of those. What's been going on here? Nothing really. After we executed the 20 you suggested, the inhabitants here are truly submissive. I was just about to pick some troops to stay here and head out with the rest. I believe the next target is a small village called Gilim. Not much of one, but then this is further away from the Falkian heartland, of course. You think for a moment and say something that shocks the Major. The troops could probably do with a small rest. Let's stay here another 3 days. It's not going to make that much of a difference. I doubt that little village is going to provide much of resistance, let alone being able to shore up any sort of strong defense within that time. We've got the Falcons pinned in from here, and last reports say they're focusing on most of their troops on the front lines or against the knolls to the east. All right. The attempts at humor are one thing, but now I'm starting to worry a shapeshifter has taken your place. No worries, let's just say I'm in a less grim mood. You are? Then the gods must truly do exist, because I never thought I'd see the day. I guess whatever it is the Emperor had you doing went well then. It did, but this has nothing to do with that. I just want to make sure the soldiers are well rested and not run ragged. Make sure you have them gather here in the town square a few moments. I'd like to give them a speech about how their efforts have been appreciated. Oh yeah, Storkus, this character that I'm talking like this, she's the major. She's leading the this group of soldiers. So I'm a support unit for her. I think she was also a former Eternal classmate of mine as well. By the Emperor. By the Emperor? I'm sure he does too, but I figure the troops might want to know that someone a little closer to them appreciates their hard work, even if he doesn't always say it. I'll get them together, but I imagine they'll enjoy the fact that you're allowing them 3 days rest more. Still, some encouraging words do help with the morale for some. I hope you know this appreciation includes everyone here, and that especially means you. This battalion is under your command, and you've done a fine job running it. I think officially you outrank me, given that you report directly to the Emperor. Perhaps, but while I have given my own input with strategies and battles, I've always allowed you to make the final decisions because this is still your command, and I respect that and you. The Empire is stronger with you leading some of its armies. Wow, I'm nearly speechless right now. Keep complimenting me like that, and I'll start to think you're developing intimate feelings for me. What? Oh, you know, saying to me I look prettier out of my uniform and how we should talk in private. Then the next thing I know, you're telling me to drop down and give... Whoa! 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 Whew, that's... she's forward. She's forward. I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't abuse my position of authority like that, you exclaim. The Major laughs a bit. Relax. I know you wouldn't. The whole time on this assignment, I haven't seen you take an interest in anyone. Why would I? I'm supposed to be focusing on the task of destroying the Falcons, not indulging my baser pleasures. Perhaps, but not everyone is so single-minded in their duties, or get that fun from the battlefield like you seem to do. Why would you think we have a group of following our army around? Do you not think that some of the soldiers sneak off with each other sometimes? I wouldn't even get into some of the stuff that we probably aren't seeing after we crush one of the Falcon population zones. As for the abuse of power from a superior, you're probably one of the first that I know that hasn't even tried to use it as some sort of threat to have sex with someone of a lower rank. Yes, well, I suppose that's the ugly side of war, you reply. Now the Major starts laughing out even more. You're hilarious. Brutality and carnage on a grand scale, death and destruction everywhere, and you think whores, a few random grapes, and some sexual harassment is the ugly bit? That's why I like you. Because you don't know any better. Anyway, thanks for the compliments, and know that I have also found that despite your usually overly serious demeanor, it's been a pleasure serving you with you as well, and I look forward to our continued positive relationship. As do I. Why did Jono just swear? Because I try to avoid cursing too much. The YouTube algorithm punishes me with the yellow symbol of no money. With you and Major Crozer at a friendlier understanding of one another, as well as the Emperor's earlier words to you, you feel a lot happier about your current assignment. Call me Allison? Year 24 or years parse? Okay, so it looks like we're going to get some more backstory. So we're going to do the Call Me Allison for the backstory, but then we got to call it because my voice is getting a bit ragged. So let's find out. Call Me Allison. Save. Well, that's a lot to scrap. Yeah, that's why I change my language so that it doesn't get me into trouble with the YouTube gods. Okay. Year 24. So now we're 24 years old. Lulls in between battles usually makes you feel antsy, but over time you've been attempting to be more social to make up for the downtime with the less intolerable. You've mostly confined your socialization to Major Crozer at first because you felt you should still maintain a respectable distance from the rank and file of troops, and the Major is the closest to your own status. Eventually, though, you started to enjoy speaking with her. It seems like you're always learning a few new things from her too, like how she comes from a military family. Oh, okay, she wasn't an Eternal. And how most of them have died in some way serving the Empire. She says she fully expects to meet her end the same way. Right now, she's telling you a bit about one of your old classmates that served under her. Okay. So she ordered an Eternal around. During her command at Fort Destiny, Kane, nowadays known as the Butcher of Rask. Yeah, he was a strange fellow, kept mostly to himself, focused on battle a lot. Good soldier in general, but I think he scared everyone else even back then. I guess when you met me, you thought it was Kane all over again. Huh, well, maybe a little different. But even during that first year, I felt a difference between the pair of you. I always felt your distant personality was more due to a strong sense of professionalism and duty. With Kane, I don't know. I felt there was something else going on with him. After he took down the Wendigo tribe, it seemed like he got even weirder. I get reports from other soldiers that he's doing some creepy stuff like shouting like a madman at the dead bodies of his enemies and continuing to taunt them even in death, taking body trophies and such. Still, he's doing his job so long as he focuses with that. I didn't think too much of his oddities. I was sort of glad when they decided to transfer me out of Rask, though I pity those that are still under Kane's command after I left, but I guess you can't argue with his success there. I hear even the giant and ogre populations for the Nerth are under control. That's a lot of scrap. Clever. Kane always was one of the better combatants I had to go against during my training days. He'd never quit either. Once I had to break both of his arms and legs just to get him to stop attacking me long after I defeated the rest of the class. Even then, he was still trying to bite me, you reply. Sheesh, I know you've briefly mentioned your training before, but what exactly did they do to you guys? You Eternals, I mean. Did they just put you through hell and see who survived? I suppose you could say that. Though I was a special case. Due to my defiance on the first day of class, the instructor had decided to take a particular interest in giving me the hardest of battles, tasks, and punishments. Not much more to say about any of it, really, except I survived. That's it? No more thoughts on it? Oh, I have thoughts, but I'm not sure I should share them with you, Major. Oh, come on. How long have we known each other now? Oh, it's been 3 years. You don't need to address me as formal all the time. Especially if there aren't other soldiers around. You can call me Allison. Haha. All right, Allison. But my point still stands. I'm not sure if I should share such thoughts with you. Not because I wouldn't keep tight-lipped from you, but because I would gladly share such private thoughts with you. Because I find you worthy to discuss such things with. I just wonder if it would make you see me in a different light, and possibly alter our friendly relationship. Bro, this is way more than friends. Come on, chat. You're with me, right? This is definitely more than just friends. Like, Mr. I can't get mistress out of my head idiot here can't see a girl flirting with him. Clever girl. Yeah. Wait, let me get this straight. You're actually concerned about what I think about you? Of course, why wouldn't I? It's just surprising given for what I do know of you, but I'm more interested in what it is that you could possibly tell me that might make me think differently about you. I've seen what you're capable of in battle. Anything that you did tell me would most likely cause me to understand you a bit more rather than recoil in horror from whatever it is you're worried about. Very well, I shall tell you of my experiences during my training as an Eternal. You proceed to tell Allison everything you went through and how you felt during all of it. The first part really isn't what you're concerned about. You figure Allison can certainly understand your feelings that you experienced during the first part of your training. It's the last part. Specifically, the last fight you had with Mistress. Yeah, well, we got down with Mistress. You talk about how you first felt like you were going to die, then the thrill when you finally got the upper hand, how you felt pure hate during the whole thing until Mistress pulled a little seduction trick that caused you to become distracted. Except, it wasn't really a trick because you did desire her. After all of her abuse, you couldn't help but admire Mistress. She'd been the one that ultimately taught you how to fight, taught you how to kill, taught you how to perform magic, and taught you how to survive against all odds. Love is in the air. Talking about your ex feelings in the air. It's the most important thing to mention on date, how you have an ex. Sorry. That's a sarcasm, chat. That's a sarcasm. When you're going on a date with someone, the worst possible thing you can do is talk about your previous relationships. It is just so attractive. Okay. And to this day, as much as I hate everything about that black-hearted Svelg bee, there is a sick, twisted part of me that still wants her. I don't know why. It's like she managed to get in my head permanently, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Allison seems slightly at a loss to respond at first, but eventually she finds some word. My scent restore says that he wants to mate with his teacher. Yeah, it's a problem. Allison seems slightly at a loss. Oh yeah. Do you think it's some sort of magic? Maybe she cast a spell on you or something. No, it's not magic. I mean, she's half responsible for this, but it's not any sort of witchery. And when it all comes down to it, it's all on me. I need to be stronger to eliminate the desires from her from my mind. And so far, I have failed in that task. It's not all the time, of course. When I'm in battle or preparing for battle, it's better. I become focused on that instead. When I'm not, well, it's more difficult. What about when you're talking with the Emperor? Surely being within his presence would keep your mind off this. Well, that would be another case where she's not usually in my mind. However, it's difficult. Sometimes difficult when she's at meetings. Impossible, actually. I loathe such days when she has to be there. I can imagine, but while your story is certainly unusual and probably a little, well, up, it hardly changes my opinion of you. It actually explains a few things. A lot of things, really. Well, I'm glad this revelation has not altered our relationship then, you reply. I must admit, I have not told this to anyone else. Not even the Emperor, though he is aware of what transpired. But I couldn't have him knowing about this weakness. He could believe it to interfere with my abilities and take me off the important missions. Allison reaches out and touches your hand. Yeah, definitely friends. My dear, from what I can tell, the only thing you encountered with your instructor has interfered with is your ability to seek out others on an intimate level. Tell me, since that time, have you ever experienced something like that with anyone else? No, you say. Far too long, Allison says, and moves in to kiss you! Success! Hey, I'm back. What are we trying to fix? The wee gaps. No worries. Basically, a girl, a reasonable, level-headed, funny girl, is actually interested in us. And we ended up talking about our rather messed up past, and she's accepted us, and she's giving us a schmooch. She's schmooching us. At first you want to resist due to your overly developed sense of protocol and duty. Another part of you wants to resist because you remember how you behaved last time. It was rough, raw, and unrestrained. While Mistress seemed to enjoy that, you don't know if Allison is going to, and you aren't sure if you're going to be able to contain your overzealous nature when things get going. Major, I'm not really sure if this is a good idea. I might start getting rough, and I don't know if I'll be able to stop, you say. While you appreciate your concern, I'm a big girl, and I can handle myself. And I told you to call me Allison, Allison says, and at last you feel her lips connect with yours. After you read all of this, can you play Garden of Banban? I do accept game requests, but I have to look at it beforehand and decide, because I got to factor in everybody here who wants to watch things. But I will save it here on my tabs, so I'll take a look at it. Thank you for the suggestion. Best girl is here. Oh, okay. Your experience with Allison is different. The main difference, of course, is that you aren't in the middle of trying to kill her. At one point, you do start to get a little overly vigorous when Allison doesn't seem to mind some of it, but when it's too much, she lets you know. The fact that you're able to rein yourself in shows that you might have been worried over nothing all this time. Or maybe it shows you might have deeper feelings for Allison than you realized. Something between the pair of you has been building for quite some time. Granted, she has been more of the pursuer in this situation, but if your thoughts hadn't been preoccupied with other things, maybe you wouldn't have pursued something with her a long time ago. After it's all over, you feel a little odd, but in a good way. And it's not just from the schmecky time. You do sort of wonder where that puts you and Allison now that Thou, though, so you ask her. You didn't fall in love with me, did you? Allison asks with a slight smile. No, I mean, I don't think so. Not to say it wasn't good, because it was. Well, this isn't exactly my area of expertise. Ah, he's fumbling. He's flustered. Huh. Well, I wouldn't say that as far as physical aspect is concerned, but I guess this sort of situation would be pretty new to you. Well, I'll tell you, like I've told the others in the past, I have no claim on you, just like you have no claim on me. I can keep our professional relationship separate, if you can. But if you think this might affect us in other ways, then I'm perfectly willing to accept this as a one-time thing. Of course, I'd be lying if I wouldn't want to do this again with you sometime. I'd like that too. I mean, now I understand a little more of why others seem to engage in this whenever possible. Allison laughs at your remark, but seems happy that you are once again willing to not be so bound by duty all the time. Alrighty, we ended on a high note. Okay, let me just save the story quickly. It'll be year 25. Save and quit. Boom. All right, to the chat room. Let's put on the outro. My voice is very well burned in. But Aya, I will record the script for you tomorrow. I promise I'll deliver it for you tomorrow. I feel so bad. How many months has it been? It completely slipped my mind. All right, thanks everybody for watching. This is great. I'm enjoying this a lot. And yes, also Ryan, the YouTube channel, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed yourself as well. I will take a look at everybody's suggestions. I've got a lot of stuff open here on my tabs. So let's see if we can quickly find somebody to give a raid to. I love raids. It's always so wonderful. Customization. Boom, boom, boom. Who is online? Ooh, we got a lot. We got a lot of people here. I can't pick. I can't decide. Let's raid William. We haven't raided William in a while. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Roberto's on strike at the moment, so I'll have to type it out. Seraph raid. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Let's go say hi to William. Okay. I'll quickly read chat. I know where my pheromone sensors are saying he wants. Yep. That was cute. Can you check out the garden? Yes, I will check it out. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.